Welcome to another Tech Tip Tuesday, where today I'm going to look at creating section views in SOLIDWORKS drawings. Section views are a great way to show internal details of both parts and assemblies. And for this example, I've created 3 identical views of the same assembly to show these examples. Let's start with this view in the upper left-hand corner. For this view, I want to create a traditional section view, a vertical line sectioning the assembly out to the right-hand side. So to get started, we need to access the View Layout tab on the Command Manager and find the Section View button. Once activated, the Section View Assist tool will present you with 4 basic types of section views you can create: a vertical section line, a horizontal section line, what's called an auxiliary view or a section line at an angle, and then finally an aligned section view, which we'll look at in a moment. Let's start with the basic, the vertical section line. Now, you'll notice immediately when I hover my cursor over a view, SOLIDWORKS gives me a preview of where the section line is going to be. But what's really great about this tool is it'll snap to geometry, making it really easy to find that particular feature that you want to cut through, and in this case, it's the center of the assembly. Now, when I select this, SOLIDWORKS would allow me to immediately hit the green OK button to create the section view, but I want to look at a few of the tools on this pop-up menu that just appeared. The first tool we're going to look at is going to be the notch offset. The notch offset is a great way to put a notch or an offset, as the name would imply, in the section line itself. To use the tool, all you need to do is specify where you want to start the notch. And in this case, I'll choose the center of this fastener. Again, noticing my cursor snaps right to the geometry. The next thing you need to do is specify where you want the notch to end. And in this case, I'm just going to select an arbitrary point along the section line. The last or third selection is where it's really powerful. Again, we can snap to geometry, and in this case, I'm going to choose to create a cut through this fastener, and there's actually a bushing there as well. And I'm going to go ahead and select that, and as soon as I do, SOLIDWORKS brings the pop-up menu back, but it creates the jog in the section line for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next option. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and pan the view over, and we're going to look at single offset. Single offset's really powerful as well, in that it's similar to the notch. It allows us to select a point where we want to start, but the notch just requires us to specify where we want to cut up to, or how we want to move the section line over. And in this case, I'll choose the head of this fastener over here. Now, if I zoom out, you can see what's actually being done. It's going to extend the end of the section line down to the bottom of the view based on that point. Now, the really great thing about the single offset is I can create multiples of these in a row. So for example, if I want to then offset back in towards the center line of the assembly, I can select another point and bring it over. But in this case, what I actually want to do is I want to select the center of this fastener here, and then I'm going to choose single offset again and select that same point and create an additional jog. Now at this point, I have a pretty complex section view, and all I have to do is press OK. SOLIDWORKS then presents you with the traditional dialog box asking you to change any last-minute things about the section view, such as auto-hatching, excluding fasteners, which we'll do in this case. Now, we want to show them, we just don't want to cross-section them. And then section scope over to the left, which we'll look at a little bit later on. Let's go ahead and press OK. SOLIDWORKS then goes to work creating the section view. It takes a few seconds depending on the complexity of the section view, but it's pretty quick. Let's go ahead and place that section view then where we want it. What we can see is that SOLIDWORKS has done a lot of work for us here. It's created all the necessary jogs and offsets. It's added all the hatch patterns to the components, and it's even alternated the hatch patterns on adjacent components. Likewise, you'll notice all the fasteners that cross the section line have not been cut but are still visible. So right off the bat, the section line tool is really easy to create those standard type section views. But let's go ahead and look a little bit deeper. Again, I'm going to go back up to the section view button, and this time we're going to choose the align section view. This tool is a little bit different. You notice from the preview what it's asking for is the center of where the aligned angle actually starts from. And in this case, I'm going to again choose the center of my assembly. Now, this next selection is where things might seem a little confusing. What it's actually looking for is the initial angle for the aligned section view. And in this case, I want to pull the section view straight out to the side, so we're going to snap this to a vertical alignment. Then SOLIDWORKS will require a second selection, and this will be the actual angle of the alignment itself. And for this, I'm going to simply snap to one of these fasteners here on this assembly. Now, like before, I could go ahead and press OK and have a quick align section view, but I want to look at this last option, the arc offset. The arc offset is very similar to notch and single offset, but it's unique in that it's great for round parts. Here I'm going to choose to start an arc on the center of this fastener where we drew our aligned angle out to. And you'll notice SOLIDWORKS allows me to then generate an arc and then snap to another piece of geometry. This is really great if there's a whole bunch of features along a round part that I want to show in my section view. Like before, when we're done, we can press OK, and SOLIDWORKS will present us with these options. I'm going to keep the defaults that I selected before and let SOLIDWORKS generate the section view for me. Again, after a few seconds, you'll be able to drag the section view and place it wherever you want. I'm going to go ahead and place this over to the right-hand side. What's really powerful about the aligned section view is this is actually a true aligned section view, meaning that all the geometry is rotated or projected to the initial section line that we specify. This gives us true dimensional sizes in the case of this section view, so it's very powerful. Let's look at the last and probably my favorite style of section view inside of SOLIDWORKS, a half section. Again, going to the section view button, you'll notice that the 4 basic types of sections that we looked at here don't include half section. But actually at the top of the property manager are 2 additional buttons. The first one activates the types of section views we've already created, and the second allows us to choose half section. And in this case, it presents us with the 8 standard half section view types you can create. All you need to do is specify which section view arrow you want to create. In this case, I'm going to choose to cut the top side left portion of my view. Now, like all the other section views we've created so far, I just snap it to the geometry. And again, in this case, I'm going to choose the center. I'm going to accept the defaults here, and then I'm going to drag the section view where I want to place it. So I'm going to go ahead and pan over here and place the section view on the drawing. SOLIDWORKS will then clean it up after a quick second. Now, we've created the half section view, which is a great way to show the relationship between both internal features and components and external features and components. But what I want to do is show something very powerful inside of SOLIDWORKS, and it's called 3D Drawing View. You can select any view, and I have this button on my heads-up display. But if this button doesn't exist in your interface, you could always go up into the upper right-hand corner to Command Search and start typing in the name of a command. And in this case, we're just going to type 3D Drawing View. If you want the button on a toolbar, simply drag it out and place it there. In this case, I have it on my heads-up display, so I'm going to remove it. With the view selected, simply press 3D Drawing View, and SOLIDWORKS immediately puts you into rotate mode for that drawing view. This is a great way to understand what's actually being shown in that drawing view in a 3D presentation, but you'll notice the graphics are really choppy, and that's because we're looking at this in a preview style mode. However, if you press OK, SOLIDWORKS will actually save those settings and it'll regenerate the drawing view for you in that orientation. This is super powerful as it gives you many different ways of displaying a section view. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier is I wanted to take a closer look at section scope. If you right-click on any drawing view and choose Properties, section views specifically give you a variety of options, including that section scope option we saw before. Section scope allows you to deselect or choose components which will not be included in the section view itself. So, for example, if I choose this inner hub and maybe this bearing right here, when I press OK, SOLIDWORKS will regenerate the section view and it won't cut through those parts. This makes it really clear what it is you're trying to show in here, and it makes it easier to call out some other components in this case. So 3D drawing view is extremely powerful, especially combined with things like a half section as we showed here. So hopefully section views are a little bit easier to understand and they're not as intimidating for new users. I hope this Tech Tip Tuesday was valuable to you, and please feel free to leave comments below.